Good afternoon to all parents who have joined this Parents Orientation for 2022. Welcome to you all, especially as parents and guardians of students in the law faculty at the University of Cape Town. In this meeting, I have colleagues, Ms. Gabby Ritchie, who is the Alumni Development and Marketing Manager, but also Ms. Kerry van de Vent, who is the undergraduate manager in the faculty. They will be joining me in answering questions that you may have after my introductory remarks. Let me start by congratulating you for a job well done so far for your son or daughter gaining admission to UCT Law. This is not a small achievement, it is a major achievement because we received so many applications, in excess of 14,000 this year, even more, with exception of students competing for admission. And we selected very few students in the range of 220 who were admitted out of that large number. These students scored very high marks, and that's the only reason they're able to join this faculty. So I know that you're proud of their achievements, but I just want to highlight that they are exceptional students, students who are exceptionally gifted, and they have come to the right place. They've chosen the right place to pursue the LLB. We have the intellectual resources here and other resources to make them exceptional lawyers. Of course, it will be a huge challenge to complete the LLB within the required time, but with the marks, the performance that they have produced so far, I have no doubt that they will make it. Now, for those taking law courses for the first time, especially students coming straight from matric, there's a huge gap, of course, between matric level study and first year law studies. The gap is huge, and so it requires students to adjust very quickly, to grow up and mature very quickly, and waste no time in doing so. So there are no shortcuts to succeeding in legal studies. One has to be committed to them. And I propose 5 main things that are necessary for a student to succeed in studies of law. One of them is the first, to be focused on studies from the beginning. So when we get students to university, one of the things that happens is, of course, they are more free, they have gained freedom from living with parents, they perhaps come to live on campus, and that freedom can also be a huge setback for them, in that they may not be able to keep the balance right between studies and non academic activities. Of course, we encourage students to have a life beyond studies, but achieving the right balance is very important. So one has to be focused right from the beginning. There's no time to waste, and work piles up very quickly in legal studies. Because there's so much to read, there's so much to learn, there's so much to study. The second, of course, is lecture attendance. It is a requirement that students attend all lectures and tutorials. And we have, over the years, seen that lecture attendance is one of the major factors in student performance. And this is a big problem because at university level, we don't normally police lecture attendance. We don't ring a bell. Students have to know when to attend this lecture at this venue, when to go for tutorials, when to go for study. No one keeps a watch. They are adults now, and we expect them to manage their time. But time management, especially attending lectures and tutorials, is a big challenge. So for the first few weeks, we see class attendance is good, but after the first 3-4 weeks, it declines sharply. This is true both for physical class attendance, but also virtual learning. In the last 2 years, we've seen also that the consumption of lectures online only increases towards the end of the semester and when exams or tests are to be administered. Consistency in class attendance and tutorial is very key. The third is to prepare for lectures and revise as regularly as possible. Again, here, some students wait till it is too late to start preparations, and again, they get into all manner of psychological problems. They panic, they discover that they cannot catch up, and all manner of things happen because of that. But preparation for classes and revision, regular revision is very critical in order to keep the pace, because things pile up, as I've said, very quickly in legal studies. We have many support measures for students, including tutors. At the moment, we have about 20 tutors who support lecturers in various courses. That is a significant increase in tutors, because not many years ago we had about 10 tutors only. Of course, the lecturers themselves also hold consultation with students outside the lecture periods or the tutorial periods. But we know that very few students make use of this. Very few students consult lecturers outside the tutorials or lectures. Very few students consult tutors whose job is simply to be offering assistance to students. So making full use of all the support measures we have is one other key to successful legal studies at UCT. Then lastly, it's of course preparation for each assignment, each test, each examination. Again, these preparations have to be continuous, consistent, and throughout the semester and the year, rather than leaving things to the very end and then discovering that one cannot cope with those studies. And so these are 5, I would say, basic things to do. Of course, legal studies require a lot of reading and effort and time, but with time one gets to use it. One gets used to doing this. So at the very beginning, it can be quite challenging to get through the program, to get used to putting in more hours of work on studying, attending classes, writing assignments, and all of that. But with time, one gets used to that. And lawyers never, lose that ability once they have gone, they have achieved a certain level of proficiency. They never lose that ability to work hard and consistently. If one fails to do that, you never can recover from that. So it's best to work towards getting used to working longer hours consistently and regularly in legal studies. Of course, we have many support measures, including psychological support measures. So students who feel that they have mental wellness issues, we do have therapists and psychologists on campus. But much more support is needed, especially from parents and guardians, financial and other support. And so as they start their studies, we do not expect a lot of equipment in law. Our tools are maybe a laptop, a printer if one can afford it, but books, it's really the books, prescribed books that students need to buy. Some can be bought secondhand, some can be bought um, um, online. Some can be bought directly from the book publishers. But we also have these resources in the libraries. So those that cannot afford to buy the books themselves, they can go and find copies in the library. We have enough. But that requires consistent attention to studying in the library. So if you can afford it, these are the basic materials that you can uh, offer to the new students. Of course, I need to mention the fact that relationship as we conceive it between the student and us is a two-way relationship. The student has rights and responsibilities. We also have rights and responsibilities. Um, and parents who have been used to serving as the direct representative of the students with their teachers at this level, at the university level, that relationship is not there. So we don't have a direct relationship with parents. We do courtesy orientation such as this one, but the relationship is between us and the students directly. They're adults, mostly law students are above 18, um, and very rarely do we get someone under 17, so or under 18. So the relationship is between us and the students. Why I'm mentioning this is because in some cases we get communications directly from parents purporting to represent the students. That is not allowed because the students themselves are adults, and so they should be able to, if they're fighting for their rights, to fight for their own rights. In any case, that's what we are trying to teach them, to be lawyers. Lawyers represent other people, and they can't represent other people if they cannot themselves represent their interests. So I encourage you to empower them if they need something with us to inform us of what they need. They will be informed of all the avenues of support, who to contact, when and how. Um, and so you can encourage them to do this. Of course, in rare circumstances, we do respond to parents asking on behalf of their son or daughter, say in cases of illness and things like that. But we expect to interact with the students directly. As you may have heard already, this year we are aiming for on-campus teaching as far as possible and as far as the regulations allow us. At the moment, we are working with 50% density on campus, which is a major development given that just 2 weeks ago we were working with around 30% density on campus. So we aim to have some lectures happening physically. Students will attend lectures in lecture halls, but in some lectures will continue to be remote. We hope to change to full on-campus teaching as soon as the COVID regulations allow us to do so. There is hope that that will happen very soon, but at the moment we are proceeding with the 50% density. This translates to practically all compulsory courses. There will be in-person lectures. and some remote lectures, but all tutorials will be conducted physically. So in-person tutorials will be conducted in person. For elective courses, there will be there is some flexibility there for lecturers. Some might opt to do them remotely, others might opt to do them in person. So there's more flexibility there. The challenge we have is that the venue capacity has been reduced by half, which means that we do not have as much venues as we would like in order for us to get to full on-campus teaching. Otherwise, um, we we expect a much better year this year compared to the last 2 years. Of course, last year was much better than 2020. The performance of students has not been worse than before 2020, in spite of COVID. In fact, the performance has been better. There have been challenges regarding remote teaching. Students didn't feel as if it was the best mode of teaching. Staff also feel like it is not the best mode of teaching, and hence the move towards what we call a hybrid model. Um, and hopefully very soon we'll return to normal teaching as it were. The major challenge we faced, especially during remote teaching, was the integrity, ensuring the integrity of the examination process. This year, all exams are going to be conducted on campus and will be invigilated, and hopefully that will improve the integrity of the examination process. Um, with these initial remarks, I would like to congratulate you once again and pause for questions that you may have. Um, these questions can be posted in the chat, um, and then we'll read them out, then we answer them. Already, Gabby has already asked in the chat for the questions to be posed to her. My colleague, Dr. Herina Stup, is going to make some additional remarks as we wait for questions to be posed. Thanks.
Thanks, Professor Chua. I just thought it might be worth, let me just switch on my video also. There. Good afternoon, parents, and I can also reiterate Professor Chirwa's congratulations. It is a remarkable achievement. I chair our orientation committee, and I just thought I might add to what Professor Chirwa said about support to students. We do, during orientation, brief students thoroughly about all of the support structures that are in place, and we also do offer them an academic orientation. So we look at digital and computer literacy, and we look at time management, and we do try to give them a running start. We will also this year be offering ongoing orientation. So there will be structures and information sessions and the like throughout the year. So we really do try to give them the best chance possible. If you can keep encouraging them to, as Professor Chirwa said, make use of what is there, because we do find that the resources are often there, but we are not approached. So yeah, that is all that I wanted to briefly add, Professor Chirwa. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that, Dr. Stup. Okay. Okay, I don't see questions. Just to explain how briefly what we expect, especially for students joining the LLB straight from matric this year. We will expect them to take some law courses, and in addition to law courses, they are going to take 2 non-law courses. Normally this is in humanities. In other faculties, normally they take courses from humanities. And those courses can be, I mean, humanities, as such a huge array of courses, but we encourage them to take those two courses, which can also be taken at second year level, because next year we will expect them again to take non-law courses. So it could be that they take philosophy, a philosophy course. That course must be a prerequisite or must lead to a course that can be taken in the second year as well. If it is politics or world politics, whatever it is that they choose, it should also be at the second year level. So there's a wide array of courses that can be taken in the humanities. It depends entirely on them. We do offer advice on what they can take and what they may not take. The timetable is a complication, but there are some courses which are consistently taken by law students. We do this so that they have a broader grounding rather than just study law. So they will do um, a language course, but also two non-law courses in another faculty, mostly in the humanities. The law courses that they do at this stage is Foundations of South African Law, which is an introduction to South African law, more or less. Um, there is also a course called South African Private Law System and Context. This introduces students to private law. There is also a course called Law of Persons and Family, which is really about, you know, family, how it is structured, how family comes about, how it ends, how it is protected, um, and also a focus on children as persons as well. Um, those are the main law courses that they do, these three courses. Then those who didn't do well in mathematics, they are also expected to do a course we call Law That Counts. It's really practically mathematics in order for them to catch up on their maths how to compute, how to solve problems, especially some because when you operate a law firm, sorry, I almost disappeared. I hope I didn't completely. So these are this is what is expected of students this year when they start next week. Um, I hope most have registered, but we are still waiting. Next week we start, and registration stops after 2 weeks into the semester. So I still don't see questions here. So we're still giving you an opportunity to ask questions. All right, thanks. Moira, are the book lists, where are they posted for the courses?
Professor Chirwa, those are usually on the VULA sites because that is where we have recently been uploading the course schedules. Some of those VULA sites are not yet entirely ready because we have had to revise our teaching plans drastically in light of the changes. So colleagues are still scrambling, but we are working as quickly as we can. So we will have that available for students as soon as is possible.
Thank you. Yeah, so the question was, are the book lists available? At the moment, some are available, others are being revised because last week we were informed that the density on campus has increased from 30% to 50%, which means that we have had to revise the teaching modes, and we are completing um, um, the the modalities of teaching under this mode this week. So the course outlines, some course outlines will be available by the end of this week, latest next week. But the lecturers can also be consulted and they can provide the list directly to the students as well. The next question says from Nancy Kirelo, can a student be able to change one of the elective courses if they have already registered? Um, so the elective courses can change within, I think, 2 weeks. Otherwise, the lecturer concerned who is offering the course may not accept a student to start a new course if they miss 2 weeks. So it has to be done quickly. If it is done late, they may not be able to join the alternative course, but also they may not be able, they may lose their fees. There may be a penalty in terms of fees. So the best is to do it within this week, next week, and not later than the week that comes, not later than February, end of February. The next question, I can't see the name, but it's the initials is NW, NM. When will the timetable be made available? Okay, so that's Nasima. The timetable is being redone. We had it last week. This week it's being redone. We hope by tomorrow it will be completed. And Helena says the timetable could be completed today, but it can go up to tomorrow, and then it will be circulated to students. Gabi has just shared a draft timetable in the chat, which you can see, but there might be changes to it as discussions are still going on regarding the modalities of teaching. I'm just trying to go through the questions again. So Gabi has posted in the chat, if you can see it, a message which says UCT offers a UCT care services, and we are part of that as a law faculty. There's a specific law cares email where you can also send to which you can also send questions, and there are dedicated people who are answering those questions there. I haven't seen any other questions. Is there anything else that we could add, Gabi and Helena?
Um, nothing, nothing for my part, Professor Chirwa. Just to reiterate that students must please just keep checking back with the Vula site. And I might also add, just in case there are parents here with students who joined us late and missed some of the orientation sessions, are behind. There is no cause for concern at all because we will catch everybody up. So they can just be in touch with me, and we are putting plans in place to make sure that people who missed sessions are thoroughly informed and ready for action when lectures start. Thanks,
Okay.
Professor Chua.
Thank you very much, Dr. Step. Gabby, Richie.
Thanks, Prof. Chirwa. Just put my camera on as well briefly. Um, I think just to sort of say to parents and guardians that the faculty is actually quite a friendly place, and along with the law care service, I think the advice would be for students to get as involved as they can and ask questions, because if they don't know the answer to something, chances are other students also don't. It's that sort of usual advice of just ask. And I think our experience has been that the more students ask questions and get involved and really participate in their own education and in being a part of the faculty, it's a much more rewarding experience and much more sort of including. So I suppose that's just a bit of advice. But yes, just to repeat the Law Care's email address that is in the chat. If you're if the students you're responsible for have any questions, that really is a good place to start. Thank you.
Thanks for that, Gabby. Um, I also wanted to add that we have a disability unit, and so some students come with um, disabilities that may not be so obvious. Some might have speed problems in writing, um, and so never complete exams, for instance. They can get medical reports and access the disability unit to give them extra time. We have had cases of students who come in and never disclosed their disability, and never benefited from the support that we provide. I remember I had a master's or law student from the DRC, the Democratic Republic of Congo, who had albinism, a condition called albinism, and I did not know that if you suffer from that condition, it means that your ability to work on a computer is limited. And the exams that I used to administer in that course were 24-hour exams, and which meant that the student had to spend much of the day as possible on the computer, which he couldn't. And the only time he revealed this was after the exam, and he had failed the exam. And he came to my office explaining how he struggled to complete the exam within the required time. It occurred to me at that stage that he was trying to say that if a person has this condition, the ability to work on a computer or certain types of exams would not be suitable to them. So we had to schedule a different exam for him. The thing is, when I said, why did you tell us about this? Why did you go to the disability unit? He said that where he grew up, um, there was no accommodation for people with disabilities. If you asked for accommodation, it was a sign of weakness or things like that, which was very sad, because we have to create conditions where people can all students can compete fairly and equally. And if one has a disability, they have to be accommodated within reasonable bounds. So I just want to highlight that these disabilities could be the speed at which one is able to absorb material or to write or complete a task. It could be mental wellness issues, and we have support mechanisms for that. It could be many other things. And so I would like to encourage parents to um, to help your sons and daughters to study effectively and efficiently, but also to seek help when they need that help. We have invested so much in creating support measures for students. We don't always students don't always benefit from these because they don't access these. And so for us, it's a plea that they should access all of these support measures. With these remarks, I would like to thank all of you for attending this session, um, and also to congratulate you once again. The next is to see you at the graduation hall in 4 years for the 4-year LLB students, for the 3-year LLB students in 3 years, and of course for the students joining the law degree after the combined law humanities degree or combined commerce law degree. We expect to see you in 2 years' time at the graduation hall. Thank you very much. Thank you, Tariq, for organizing this, and your colleagues as well. Thanks, Helena, Gabby. I didn't see Kelly, but thanks. Bye-bye.